So it comes with one remote control. So next to it is just a box, but it comes with one remote control, and the remote is model number RC03RF, and it comes with two controller units, and the model number of the control units are C05RF. You want to hold on to the instruction manuals because it does include instructions on how to link and unlink the controllers from the remote, as well as the number of controllers that the remote can control, as well as the number of remotes that the controller can handle. So basically the remote controls can, according to the spec, control unlimited number of controllers, and the controllers can be connected to up to 5 remotes. So basically the remote can be 1 to unlimited number of controls, and the controls can be linked to up to 5 remotes. The remote control is an RF transmitter. You don't have to be line of sight, and it can be behind walls and paneling. And the kit comes with the 2 receivers and instruction manuals for the receiver and instruction manual for the controller as well. It does come with a mounting bracket for the controller, and it also comes with double-sided tape for your receiver as well. And nice thing about these receivers is that they're very small. So let me give you a comparison with the other receivers that I have. So here's the receiver of another system that I have. It's also an RF system, but the receiver box is really large compared to this kit. So this kit, the receiver, the box is about maybe 2 inches tall by ½ an inch thick and about 1 inch wide. Why would you want something small? Well, I have to tuck things in between panels, and this receiver here is really thick, and I can't really stick it into narrow paneling spaces. This one here is only ½ an inch thick, so it would really fit nicely in between panelings that I normally tuck these away in. You're going to need to supply your 2 AAA batteries. Receivers take between 5 volt DC to 24 volt DC, so a very flexible controller, and it can handle up to 12 amps of maximum supply current. So that's a whopping amount of power for such a small little controller. And the RF runs off of 2.4 gigahertz frequency. You have a dual port power input, so you can have the regular power jack, or if you have simple wires that you want to connect directly into the input, the power input socket. Of course, you have to have a power source that can source that amount of current, and it has a flexibility of driving a 6-wire lighting strip. So you can have a lighting strip that is just simple one color, which is a 2-wire type of lighting strip, or a 4-wire lighting strip, which is your basic RGB. And you can have a 5-wiring strip where it's RGB and some kind of a white LED, or you can have 6 wiring lighting strip where you have RGB and you have maybe a warm white and a cool white wire. So very flexible on the amount, the type of lighting strip that you can use, and a power source that you can use as well. Linking the controller to the receiver, basically unplug the receiver for about 10 seconds and then get it connected, and then quickly press the channel that you want 3 times, and then the light should flash indicating that linked to the controller, and that's it. Very quick and easy. So we're going to turn it off and turn it on. So the instruction has some conflicting instructions. So on one side of the control, the instruction manuals, it's describing the controller with some kind of a quarter filled pie, and like a half filled pie and a dot. That doesn't quite correspond to the controller. So the controller actually has a half filled circle with a minus sign, W, and another half filled circle with a plus sign on it. And the correct instruction is actually on the other side of the manual. So that was a little bit confusing, but if you continue on reading an instruction manual, then things get sorted out. So now it properly has the instruction on the other side of the instruction manual. The controllers can connect to different types of remotes. So just out of curiosity, I have another brand, but out of curiosity, I would be interested in seeing how these controllers can be linked to another RF 2.4 gigahertz remote control. I have the LED light set up, so we have the two controllers, each one controlling a set of LED strips, and let's start the demonstration. I'm going to turn on both LED controllers at the same time, and we're going to set it to both to white. Okay, adjusting it for white, and we're going to be reducing the whiteness, or changing the color warmth. So that's warm white. Switching over to the color band, so we can touch the dial here to change to the color directly, or we can push this left top button here. So pushing the left top button switches over to the color, because each controller has been programmed to different colors. While I was testing it, you notice that one strip changed colors while the other one didn't, but we can synchronize them by continuing to adjust the color that we want. So now they're synchronized, okay? And we can press the top left button here to change to strictly the color, the standard colors, and then back to the color dial. So red, blue, green, pink, yellow, so on and so forth, switching it back to the white. And it does have memory of the last color mode that you have set it to, so that each controller will remember its last mode. So we're going to be cold white here, and then let's switch back to the color. So last was green, so let's set it to red, and oops, let's get it to and switch back to the white, so it's cold white, and we had it on the kind of like the red color back there, and then we have the mode. So mode is just the different dancing colors and things like that, and that's controlling both controllers at the same time. So what if we wanted to control one light strip at a time? So controller 1 is to the right on the screen there, and controller 2 is controlling the left color strips. So let's do number 1. So to switch to the individual controller, basically you press on one of these buttons down here. So let's control controller 1. So it's already on, and we'll just go ahead and select it. So we're not really turning it on again, but you could have turned it off and then on again, but just by pressing the on, it will indicate to the remote that you want to control just that one controller. And then let's switch it to white, and remember it was back on the red, so we switch back to the red. But actually it switched to one of the standard colors. But in any case, you got the red there. So let's just change it to blue, so we mark it. We know that that's the blue. Okay, and let's go to Control 2, and we want to change it to, let's say we just want it white. Okay, and we're going to turn everything but all the controllers off. So synchronize off. Turn them both on so they remember the state. Let's turn off Control 1 and turn off Control 2. And let's turn Controller 1 on and Control 2 on. You can individually control each controller individually, or you can control all the controllers at the same time with this one remote. Now, what if we wanted to use a different remote? So I've also linked this third-party remote to Control 1. So let's see how that works. So let's change it. I want Control 1 to be green. And we have green and yellow. So let's just set it to green, so we mark it, and we want to switch to white. And we can change the intensity of the white or the warmth of the white. So that's pretty cool. And then back to this other controller. So remember, this other controller can also do the same thing too. So let's switch to Control 1, and we want to change it. Let's just change the intensity. So we want it brighter or less intense. So that's how you can get two remotes to control one controller. And we haven't changed the warmth. Actually, let's test the warmth of the LED strip. So the difference between this remote keypad is that it's button controlled, whereas this remote here is through a touchscreen slider type of control panel.
Today we're going to take a look at this set of pulse width modulators to control LED lights. So this set comes with an RF remote that's capable of controlling 4 different channels, and it comes with 2 controllers. So as a kit, you can actually set it up with 2 channels. So this is advertised as being able to control LED light strips. But I picked this up because in my RV, all of the LED lights are just so bright, I needed a way to try and dim them. So I just took a chance, picked up the single color LED controllers. So this kit will only work with a single color LED. Just for demonstration purposes, I have some of these little puck lights. They're just small little LED lights, but I wanted to see if this will work with regular LED lights or if it's strictly for the LED strips. So I'm happy to report that this thing works great with my regular LED lights. So if I turn this on, you can see all 4 of my lights light up, but not necessarily these 2 are brighter than these 2. So on my controller, I can adjust. So let's look at the controller for a second. So there are 3 preset brightnesses. Let me dim all of these lights for a minute. There's brighter and less bright buttons. There's this mode button that I'll demonstrate in a second. We'll take it through a series of flashing and different things. And then I can control each of the 4 channels. So I'm going to turn off channels 1 and 2. So as you can see, channel 1, when I turn it on, would be these two LEDs coming from this controller, and my channel 2 is for this controller. So let's just focus on channel 1 for a second. So pressing the dim button and then the brightness button. So it's not like I can hold these buttons down. I have to press them, and then it steps through a series till it gets all the way to the dimmest and then back up to the brightest. Or again, I can choose the dimmer setting, the medium setting, and the high setting. So let's take a look at the mode button real quick. So if I hit the mode button, you can see that one actually just goes through and dims and brightens, and then I can set the speed at which it does it. So I can tell it to go through this slower. So let's go to a different mode. So this one is just flashing bright. It doesn't actually turn off, it goes all the way to dim. So again, I can speed up how fast it flashes. So I don't see a lot of use for any of the modes for my application. You can see that one is going dim, then bright, and then flashing completely on and off. So to cancel this, I found that if I just hit this button, it cancels it. So again, I can dim it and brighten it. I can use the 3 presets. So these buttons up here, if I turn them off, it will turn off all of the channels, and if I turn it back on, it'll turn on all of the channels. So when these come on, they remember where you had them the last time. So I just set, now that I turned it on and off here, my controls are going to control all of the channels. So now I can hit the middle one, and I can hit the dimmer one. I can go dimmer yet. So you can see that it's actually controlling both of my channels now. And then I can turn all of them off. So it's going to work great in my RV. I do have one minor complaint with this. So I have this set up just on a lithium iron phosphate battery. Every time I turn, so my power source is coming straight from the battery. Every time I turn this on, all of my lights are going to come on. So I'm just going to have to remember that. So in my RV, these are actually going to run through a switch anyway, so I'll just have to remember to leave the switch off. So all in all, I'm very happy with this. Nice, compact little controllers. The remote seems really decent. Takes 2 AAA batteries, which it did not come with, but not a huge deal. So it's also got this little dimmer circle. Let me turn on just my channel 1, and so you can see it goes from light all the way to dark. So I can adjust the brightness of my LEDs just by running my finger around this circle, which is kind of cool. So if I turn this off and go on, channel 1 is less bright than channel 2 right now, so I'm going to set them all to be on full. So now I can control both channels simply because I turned it on and off up here. So again, this is an interesting feature in that all of my controls are going to control up to 4 channels. Of course, I'd have to have 2 more controllers. So when I turn this off, and let's just turn on channel 2, now I can dim channel 2, and if I turn on channel 1, because it's the last one that I turned on, I'm only dimming channel 1. So I can go back, turn on channel 2, and dim that, brighten that. So all in all, yeah, very happy with this. Again, my one complaint is that every time I turn on, connect my battery, all the lights are going to come on. Not a big deal. For me, definitely worth 5 stars.
This RF RGB LED control kit comes with 2 controllers. These are the receivers, and then you've got a remote control. The remote control can control 4 of them. I'm going to show you real quick how to set this up. So it's already paired right now. So when I press 1, I'm controlling that one sector. But let me show you how to first de-pair it, because I'm going to show you how to pair it. But you just unplug it for 5 seconds, then plug it back in, and quickly hit whichever zone this was being controlled by. So I did that. I hit it 5 times. It's blinking at me. That lets me know it's unpaired. Now let me set it up to 4. Okay, plug it in. 1, 2, 3. Okay, it turns off. That lets me know that it's on. Let's do something with it. Okay, so just to verify, so when I turn off section 4 turns off, and 1 isn't mapped to anything anymore. Number 2 still mapped. It's doing its thing, and that's really how easy it is. Now I just want to point out that I'm using one single color, which you can do, and this remote actually supports all sorts of different modes: RGB, RGBW, and RGB CCT. So it's a really great remote. The only thing I should warn you of is if you're doing single color like me, don't touch this wheel, because it'll totally mess it up, but that's okay. You can fix it real simple by pressing in the center the W button, and that'll set the LEDs back to white. Also, if you want to see, I just touched that wheel. That is one of the issues I have with this, is I constantly touch that wheel. Now if you want to control all of them at once, turn them off, turn them back on. Now they're all going to be controlled as if they were on the same setting. So if I go down, see, I'm not having to switch between zones. I can go all the way up with them, and that's pretty much it. It's a really good kit that has a lot of functionality. You can use it with RGBs, you can use it with single color. The only thing you can't use it with is addressable RGB, and that's pretty much it. I'm going to turn these off and say goodnight.